The dictionary defines a rogue as a dishonest, unprincipled man, a scoundrel, cheat, or ne'er-do-well. Well, the 2014 Nissan Rogue is about as roguish as a mall. Polished up, smoothed over, and more sophisticated. Not sure what they can do about the name. Let's drive the SL all-wheel drive version and check the tech. Now, it's easy to spot this new generation Rogue. It doesn't look at all like the outgoing generation. You've got this more sophisticated presence to its styling and its details. They tell me it's also a 3-row optional vehicle. I actually find that hard to believe looking at this one, which only seems to have 2 rows. You can easily put the second-row seats down to create a flat load floor, and they have this divide and hide stowage system in the back too. All of which are nods to keeping it practical and not just better looking. Now, inside the new Rogue, they've really redone the interior and the quality of the materials. They've really brought the Rogue up the minute you sit in here. I've been griping about Nissan head units for some time. This one is a substantial step forward. First of all, it's nice, smoothly rendered, beautiful dot pitch on the screen, nice and bright. It's actually got a bit of an infinity quality to it. As you run through your media choices, you see you've got a whole new layout on the screen if you've been paying attention to Infinity. It does a pretty good job with meta tags, for example. There's room for the full spell out, and they let it do that. One note, while you do have satellite and AM and FM radio, of course, CD, aux, Bluetooth plug-in, and Bluetooth streaming, you're interestingly missing HD radio, which on a car like this, which is the highest trim of its family, that's kind of an odd omission. As you get to your navigation screen, this is also nice big buttons, and the thing I love, quick response to the touchscreen. You just get on it, and as soon as you hit that button, you get a response. That's the way it should be. Let's see how the voice command works. Street address, 235 2nd Street, San Francisco, California.
Please wait. Street address, showing matching locations.
1.
1. Set as destination, show on map, or enter at.
Set as destination. So on the upside, it took an entire phrase address without me having to use any particularly tortured language. That's great. On the downside, you saw a long processing delay between each step, and like so many cars, it still does dumb stuff like, okay, we found your address. Do you want to go there or do something else with it? I want to go there. Tesla is the only car maker that really gets you right to that. Most others give you a bunch of additional choices that take my mind off driving, but they've made big improvements. Now, the apps is a very interesting area. Hit this other button in the upper right, and frustratingly, you get some media apps. To me, iHeartRadio and Pandora are forms of radio, yet they're not even remotely related in the interface to radio, which is over here under satellite and broadcast. That's a hodgepodge, but so be it. Once you get there, just hit the Pandora button. It will invoke the Pandora app automatically on your phone. Believe it or not, some cars make you start it in both places. This one blessedly doesn't. Again, I find slow response time as it makes the handshake between the two. But once it comes up, again, we're seeing the nice meta tag display. Album art looks good in this case, and your usual Pandora functions are available as well. And of course, notice here we have Google Online Search, which lets you either search via a keyboard for entry or use voice search, but notice this. It's a different button, not the one on the wheel, and it's a different platform. It goes out to Nuance as opposed to the Nissan onboard, which is only for phone calls and navigation. So again, we're seeing kind of a confusing mess of expectations and interfaces here. And because we're doing Google search, I've got fairly familiar ways to sort by category, by distance, or by ratings. Put this guy in reverse and that screen, of course, becomes a backup camera. But notice you've got a split screen here. Your traditional backup on the left, this is the around view monitor on the right, a big Nissan Infinity thing using front, rear, and under mirror side cameras. And when you're underway at very low speeds, you can invoke the camera on demand like so with this button, and pushing it again gives you a side view on the right for things like curbs, cyclists approaching, or someone stepping off the sidewalk towards your car. Oh, and notice these little flags right here, MOD, that's moving object detection. This will also alert you to things moving within your camera view in case you missed them. In terms of your in-cabin driving controls, very straightforward on this car. Because we have a CVT, we have a very traditional looking shifter from park down to low in the classic PRNDL layout. No paddles on this car, even though it's the top trim. Over here is a tiny buried little sport button that ostensibly improves response a little bit. Gives you a tiny little icon over here. Clearly, the sport mode is not a big headline in this car. You can enable and disable most of your driving assistance technologies with either this button on the left, or you go into a menu here in your center screen. Your forward collision warning, which works above 10 miles per hour and warns only, does not stop you. Lane departure warning, again, that's passive. And blind spot warning, also passive. Now, under the hood of a modern US spec Rogue, you find a rather modern but unremarkable engine. It's a 2.5-liter inline four, so big as fours go, but small as engines go. Standard configuration is sitting sideways like this, driving the front wheels, or you can also get all-wheel drive as an option. The numbers on this guy are 170 horse, 175 foot-pounds of torque. You know, fine. There's nothing tricky going on here. No direct injection, supercharging, turbocharging. It's got variable valve timing. Lawnmowers have that now. You're going to see about a 3,500 pound curb weight on this vehicle. It gets up to 60 in 9 seconds, which is just fine. Your MPG, you're going to have 2633 front wheel drive, lose 1 for all wheel drive, 2532.
Where the whole Rogue rubric really falls down is in the driving. Nothing devilish here. The throttle response is tepid and laggy, partly because the power is barely adequate, and partly because having a CVT between the engine and the wheels isn't helping matters. These can be good gearboxes in Nissan's hands, but not in this case, as it surges and dives and hunts for the right RPM.
Putting it in sport mode here, I'm not sure what it's doing. I can't really detect anything. Active trace control is interesting. That's where it uses the brakes automatically, pinpoint, to yaw you through a corner. And I swear I actually feel it when I'm going around the big sweeping corner here and I turn into it at some speed. I'm actually feeling the car kind of rotate a little bit more than I think it's actually capable of. So that must be that trace control. Then there's active engine braking. That's basically the transmission being told to downshift and use compression braking more than just letting the car rely on its service brakes. And finally, there's an active ride control that uses the gearing as well as some braking to counteract that sort of body bounce you get when you go over a big undulation in the pavement or a speed bump. I don't really get as much bounce and porpoising as I would expect.
Finally, the forward collision warning, lane departure warning, and blind spot warning technologies, while passive, seem well calibrated, reacting neither too sensitively nor too numbly. However, the small indicator lights or generic sounding beeps they issue to alert you don't mean a lot. Cars beep and flash indicators for everything from low tire pressure to low fuel to radio preset confirmation.
Okay, pricing the new Rogue, you're looking at about $29,000 or so base for an SL. That's a high trim car before you add all-wheel drive. That's $1,350 more. Now, to get it CNET style, just one thing you have to do. Get the SL Premium package. That's going to bring you that big panoramic roof, that basket of a handful of passive driver assistance technologies, and the LED headlights. All the other media and nav gears included as part of the SL trim. We're at about $32,500 all in.